So even though I was driven, I was a boss, at the core of who I was a foundation that was sure on being an amazing wife, knowing how and when and where to submit, knowing how to cover a family. And when I say cover, I mean, like, my mom says this thing all the time, like, the man is the head of the house, but the woman is the Holy Spirit in the house. Like,
be wise and fearless, no stupid and careless. No fast and them fruitful when them fearless. No fat chat about them kind when them cheerless. Them love the crack bone and tear flesh. Politician left the youth them in a beer rest. They're not helping the people who face their stress. Them still telling lies about them trying their best.
Welcome YouTube, it's A-Maverick and you tune in to Spiritual. Over here makes you see through spiritual lenses. A few weeks ago, an interview would have been updated and pretty much I didn't get the chance to really expound on what I'm about to expound on for many reasons, but nonetheless, I'm gonna do it now, right? What is it that was said? Now, for those who don't know, this female here is a very powerful, prominent Grammy Award winning gospel artist. A lot of your favorite songs in church would have been done by her. So, this that I'm about to explain even goes deep because it's coming from her. Well, not necessarily her, but she's just mentioning or quoting what her mother always said, as you would have heard at the intro, right? Why this is necessary for us to look at, because she mentioned it, and when she mentioned it, both the interviewers or hosts and her, they kind of laugh it out. And this is not any laughing matter because it hold a lot of weight for you to actually know that yes, the Holy Spirit is actually a feminine entity, whether you like it or not. Why this is important to know is because it holds a lot of what I would say, it it holds a lot of answers then to many questions that may ask, right? Because even Christians, I believe, wouldn't believe in a lot of things that they currently believe in if they did actually know that the Holy Spirit is a feminine entity. And I could give a day long sermon on this, but I'm just going to use two verses of this, right? Two verses out of the Bible to actually prove that the Holy Spirit is a feminine entity. And the reason why, as I said, I'm going to do this is because they would have laughed it out, and the host seems to not necessarily convinced by that particular statement that she made. But I do even also believe that even she, Tasha Cobbs, who made the statement, doesn't even know how profound her answer was, right? So this is why I'm gonna expound on it, and this is key for a lot of females to know, as I always preach this, because people don't understand that there are three separate beings in the heavens. You have the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Is a reason why one is called the Son, and it's a reason why one is called the Father. But why The next one is called the Holy Spirit. Now, you have to understand the Holy Spirit goes under several monikers in the Bible. She would go under wisdom, Spirit of God, Holy Spirit. That's all the Bible generally describe the Holy Spirit, who is a part of the Godhead, who makes up the Godhead, as you would come to find out. So, in other words, you got Mother, Father, Son. So the Holy Spirit is the feminine entity which plays the role of a mother. Even Christ referred to her as mother when he says, wisdom is justified of her children. But we're going to take it further. We're going to go back to the Old Testament by letting the wisest man give what I would say a synopsis of who really is the Holy Spirit and what role she actually plays. Now, you can start at verse 1, but I'm just gonna pick it up to the latter part of this chapter. Where I'm at? I'm at Proverbs 8, and I'm just gonna pick it up at verse, when I say 29, pick it up at verse 29 to 30, right? So it goes, when he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him. Who this is talking about? This is not talking about Solomon. Who was by him? As one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. You know who this is speaking? This is actually the Holy Spirit speaking through or to Solomon. So if you pick up at verse 1 and read through chapter 8, you will get to understand that this is not Solomon talking. This is something else speaking. And who it was or who it is the Holy Spirit right there. Or better yet, in the Old Testament, it is known as, or she would known more as the Spirit of God or wisdom, right? That's the more familiar moniker the Holy Spirit goes by in the Old Testament. Wisdom, Spirit of God. Cool. Now, if you're not convinced, I will implore you, because I know that many of you all don't like to read, and that is not necessarily a black man problem or woman problem, it's just a people problem. So I'm not going to put that, what I would say, stigma on us as black men, because I'm a black man and I love to read. Cool. So if you're not convinced, read the whole chapter 8 and you will get to find out who it is that was speaking. Now, I'm gonna jump over to the New Testament. This is Romans 1. Because even Paul, another wise man, make it clear. And if you know this book or this chapter, you know that, hey, he was actually speaking to a set of people, the Romans, and you know how the Romans get down when it comes to sodomy. So he was actually advising them against fornication and say, hear what? Rome, this, I'm gonna read and pick up from Romans 1:20. Hear what Saul says, or Paul. He says, "For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." What this is saying, first and foremost, the key word here is Godhead. Godhead is a collective term, right? Meaning it it it's a plural term, so it could just only referring to God. It is referring to God and other entities, Godhead. But who are the other entities that it's referring to? It's a hierarchy, meaning this Godhead that it's referring to, it's talking about Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So this is not no three in one business. This is actually three separate beings that has their or have their orders then accordingly. No one is trying to out out perform anyone. Everyone performing in their role as the real supreme being set it, which is the Father. It's a reason why it's called the Most High. But notice how Paul worded it. It says, "The creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." Meaning, everything that you see visible, it's coming from the invisible. So when you have a family in a home consists of father, mother, that is referring, that is what I would say, it's a symbol of the Most High and the Holy Spirit. Now, the offspring is symboling Christ, which is the Son. Cool. So that is the family tree there. That is the family tree there. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's not three men, but a family unit known as the Godhead. And this is what I need for Tasha Cobbs to get that. What she said is profound than she think. And or what it is that her mom said, her mom was on to something. And this is why it's important to honor your father and your mother, because why? They are representing, they are representing the Godhead on earth. And this is why the devil always try to attack the family, because the devil know what it represents. So the devil would put two women in the household, or take the man out the household, or put two men in the household. But that's not how God set it. That is not representing the Godhead in the heavens. The devil know this, you know. These are some of the things that the devil know, hence why I'm here to bring it out so you all understand. But with that, I'm just gonna yield and let you the listen the rest that she would have mentioned. I'm just gonna leave you with another short clip then, in other words, so you get the full context of what she was actually saying. Females especially, I hope you listen, hope you take heed. Christians, you also need to take heed, because if you know this, then a lot of things that in church or in Christianity you guys wouldn't believe or hold so strong to, if you all know this. With that, I'm spiritual, peace spiritual. Until next time.
How did that transition go of you going from single, solo, ambitious woman, just taking care of myself,
Yeah.
to now a woman who's now considering a husband in this new role and position as a wife now?
Yeah, I love that question. And 2 things came to mind when you asked it. And I would talk to parents right now because my mentor says much is taught, but most is caught. So I believe watching my mother be a wife and a mother, even when I was younger, it became a part of the foundation of who I was. So even though I was driven, I was a boss, at the core of who I was a foundation that was sure on being an amazing wife, knowing how and when and where to submit, knowing how to cover a family. And when I say cover, I mean, like, my mom says this thing all the time, like, the man is the head of the house, but the woman is the Holy Spirit in the house. Like, we get insight sometimes before y'all see it. And so I had a chance to watch that my whole life. And though I grew up and became like this career-driven person, it was still in my foundation that I know how to do this because I caught it from my mom. You know, and then I am very intentional about mentorship. So I had men and women in my life. Like, before I ever met CeCe Winans, I would just study her. Like, I just think she's just so dope. Like, she's so amazing. And the way that she carries herself, the way that she represents God well, but I love the way that she loved her husband. Even though she was like this global legend icon, when she was with her husband, you can see that right now I'm wifey. Like, so I would study people like that, and I would have men in my life like William Murphy or William McDowell, all of these people who were great husbands and would share with me stories about, you know, their lives and their relationships. So I would just listen. I would listen. Oh, that's what men like. That's what men want. That's when I would study language. Yeah. Like, I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional about language. Because sometimes men ain't gonna say a full long sentence. They might say one or 2 things, and you gotta read between the lines. Like, I know if my husband keeps saying, man, if I could just take a nap, I'm feeling tired. Like, I need to create a space in my house that gives him peace so that he can rest, so that he doesn't drop the ball when it comes to our family.
Way to give an example.
Yeah, that's good.
I love, because sometimes we could talk, and some people think that this stuff can just be airy-fairy. And some women don't even like to hear that.
Yeah,
women,
I know.
I'm not no mind reader. He need to tell me what he want. But you actually
he
break
is telling you. Yep.
Right.
So the information ain't always direct.
It's not always direct.
Hey, babe, create a space for me so I
y'all
can not drop the ball
that.
for my
Y'all
family.
not gonna do that.
Yeah.
It's just how you're made. We're made totally different.
Yep.
And I think you have to be intentional about learning the language. Ask questions. When it's on the off season, when y'all ain't mad, when you ain't arguing, when you ain't fighting, ask questions like, what do you mean when you say something like this? Or how would you tell me? Like, one day my husband,